My name is Valerie Thompson, and I'm a graphic and environmental designer here at ProMedica. I was hired in as an entry-level graphic designer. I was doing that for maybe about 3 years, and I found that the projects that involved fabrication or creating a display were some of my favorites. And so when it kind of got to the point where I wanted to do something different, I asked my boss, could I concentrate on that? And that's kind of how I got started. There actually was a ton of work in that area. One of the challenges of being an African-American woman working in this capacity, in this art realm for this corporate organization, is that no one really assumes that you're the one in charge. I've shown up to a lot of meetings and people automatically go up to my white vendor and they start asking questions and the vendor looks at me and says, I don't know, what do you think, Val? This is your project. And I'm like, they look at me like, oh, didn't know that. And I choose not to be offended by things like that because I know what we're working with here. There are a lot of people who have never experienced having to answer to or talk on a higher level with a Black employee or seeing that employee be in charge of a large project, especially art that seems to be very segregated. Don't get me wrong, 90% of the people, 95% have been awesome. There's been no friction at all. And honestly, I haven't experienced any, super targeted, offensive things, but it's the little things, I think, that kind of still proves that racism is alive and well. And in those kind of pleasantries or lack thereof, you can kind of see where people and their comfort level lies. And I think that seeing me at the table as opposed to someone that looks like them might set some on edge, and others may not necessarily know how to approach me or talk to me. But I look at all of that as an opportunity. I can honestly say I have no fear in saying what I think. Sometimes it's from a Black perspective, and sometimes it's just from a human or an artist or a woman. I want to use all of those things to my advantage and to the betterment of the project. There have been times where I have made friends from working on a project with someone, and that might have been one of the few occurrences that they've had or interactions that they've had with a Black person before, and they've said so to me. And I think that it's important to be able to be in a position where you can introduce people to another perspective. That's what art is, isn't it? To be able to show people a different viewpoint. And I think that I'm so grateful to ProMedica, especially, for allowing me to be in this role. But I want to not just use that role to beautify things. I want to use that role to open up doors for other artists of color, for other marketers of color, for other people who have a interest in breaking into the corporate art world, because there are not a lot of us in those spaces. Just to be honest, there are not. And it shouldn't be that way. But it takes people who are in those positions already opening up doors for others in order to make that change.